AskReddit by Killmonger. What's the most disgusting thing you've seen someone do with no shame? Working customer service at Walmart, I once had a customer take off her very worn, very smelly shoes and put them on the counter looking for a refund because the insole in one of them was coming apart. It was a brand we hadn't even carried in 4 or 5 years. And I bet they refunded her too. My manager refunded a shit-filled blanket someone's kids had destroyed that we didn't even sell once. First that comes to mind, working at a casino, there was this one lady who smoked so much, she complained the servers weren't bringing her new ashtrays often enough, started ashing on her tongue. One time I watched her put out a cigarette butt on the machine, then fucking eat it. Years ago at one of my first gigs, we were just waiting outside the bar in a small lane until it was time for us to go on stage. There was this woman there who was about 35 but looked way older and probably hadn't been sober in a very long time. At one stage she proceeded to throw up in between swigs from her beer bottle. In her vomit there were lots of cigarette stumps. She'd been finishing people's beer bottles where they chucked in their cigarettes. It was my uncle's wedding day and his wife was just getting ready to walk down the aisle. One of the guests in the wife's family decided to stand up and show off his Johnson. There were kids there and he got kicked out trying to play it off as a joke. This does not have any of the makings of a well thought out plan. If anyone has any objection to this holy matrimony, speak now, or forever hold your peace. I saw this guy get up in the middle of a bus ride multiple times and switch seats. I noticed he smelled urine. And when he got off I noticed all the seats he sat on were moist wet. He also took out a big tub of Vaseline during the ride and slathered his entire face and neck with it. Weirdly the Vaseline makes me more uncomfortable than the pee. Saw a guy jacking off on a city bus right near 3 kids. The dad of the kids went over and literally dragged the guy to the door and threw him out the exit while the bus was moving. He totally deserved it though. Plus dad points right there. At my old job we used to have units, and a bathroom in the office on the units, generally used by everyone, except one guy, for just number 1. We would cover if someone had to go off unit for number 2 no problem. This was a unwritten rule. But there was this one evening shifter who would basically say FK all of us. He was probably 5'9" pushing 400 pounds. I think he would purposely go in and blow it up and every time would come out, leaving fesses on the toilet seat. Every single time we had to go and tell him to go and clean the bathroom because he left it dirty. He would shrug it off until the manager of the unit went in and saw it and had to tell him. Never seen a healthcare worker so disgusting. That last line made it a horror story. A guy walked into the restaurant I was working in, tried to open the door going to the storeroom and realized it wasn't a bathroom. He then proceeded to pee on the door right in front of people eating at the table near it, then walked out. Not me but my manager, walked into the warehouse at work and someone dropped a douche by the emergency exit. We had signs on the door in English and Spanish that it was not the bathroom. We has public restrooms and people would routinely smear feces in the walls. Who? And why at Dollar Tree? I'd interviewed a guy and decided to hire him but first wanted to see how he drove, so I suggested lunch I'd buy. Off we went, took his truck, kept it reasonably clean, drove proficiently, decent table manners, good representative for the company if it ever came to it. So I paid and we piled back into his truck, me, foreman, another guy, and as we're getting back, 2-lane road country-ish, he swerved expressly to hit an armadillo and laughed like a hyena. We got back, my foreman glanced my way, and I shook my head imperceptibly. He nodded in agreement. So we told the guy we had a couple more people to interview. We didn't, and that was that. Occasionally still think back and wonder, why on earth? An inoffensive critter and he went out of his way to kill it. Not our kind of people. A man's character is defined by how he treats those who can do nothing for him. That includes animals. Edit. Oh my goodness. Thank you all for the awards. Be good out there. Saw a customer at work sneeze into his handful of change and give it to my coworker. I didn't have time to warn her though. Worked at a burger place. We had some right dirty regulars and twice they paid their bill in coins. Just dumped these dirt covered filthy moist coins into my hand. They would pick up old receipts from outside then come in complaining something missing from their order too. I work with this guy who has a skin condition. Not sure what it is. I don't think even he knows TBH because he's the type of person who will not go to the doctors. Anyway, fair enough, he's got a skin condition where it's flaky. But he scratches and he scratches and he scratches and his skin goes everywhere and he does not care. He's a delivery driver for the store I work at and the other drivers will come in furious because the dashboard, the seats, the floor, everything is snowed in with flakes of skin. It's got to the point my manager has had to take him aside and say you need to clean up after yourself. And has given him a handheld vacuum which he still does not use. As a person who has to manage dandruff, this is my worst fear. My dandruff is controllable, but I hate when I can see it on my collar, or the back of my fabric office chair. I couldn't imagine it being all over my dashboard. A drinking partner I once knew was very much a shock and awe kind of fella. He would come out with the most insane stuff but was incredibly funny and intelligent. My opinion changed on the last adjective when he went to the men's room and came out with one of the yellow urinal cakes that help keep the piss stench down. He put it in his mouth and ate it. To this day I don't know why he did it, but it was just really weird and disgusting. It's crazy, right? They call them cakes, but they taste nothing like cake. Kid in middle school ran and dove into super long trough urinal, slid down it baseball style the whole length. That's almost as impressive as it is disgusting. I watched a middle-aged man take his shoes off and clip his toenails onto the floor in a waiting area at Logan Airport. From the phone conversation he was having at the same time, it appeared that he was a mental health professional. Geez, is it bad? That I immediately went, oh, that's not that bad compared to some of the other stuff in this thread. Easy to clean up and not too stinky. I was the only woman in an otherwise all-male office, and we had one bathroom. We all took turns cleaning it, and I was fine doing my part. Until we figured out that the reason it always smelled bad was because a 60-year-old man was urinating on the floor. There was a drain, and not the toilet. My boss said something to him, and he shrugged and said my wife cleans up after me at home. He was told his wife doesn't work here, but it didn't matter and he kept doing it. From then on out I refused to use that bathroom, and started going down the street to the gas station every time I needed to go. Since I wasn't using it, I didn't have to help keep it clean, and there was no fucking way I was going to help keep that bathroom clean when a grown-ass man was literally peeing on the floor. I'm shocked he wasn't immediately fired. I was on a commuter train that broke down for about 20 minutes. Sitting across from me were a brother and sister, probably about 12-13. Their dad was next to me. The kids started licking each other's faces, then picking each other's noses. Dad was totally unfazed. Yeah, had to find another seat before I threw up. Pick little cotton balls or whatever it was from under their sweaty arm cast and eat it. The devil's cotton candy. At a music festival, walking past a garbage bin, my buddy walks up to it to throw something in. He looks inside, bends in, comes out again holding half a kebab and goes look at what people throw away and proceeds to eat it. You fucking legend. I was in the French Foreign Legion. The first part of basic is called the farm. They basically fuck with you mentally, physically, and starve you, and sometimes put food in front of you only to throw it all out because someone made a noise while sitting down. I along with 40 other guys totally ate pasta from a disgusting dumpster that night. When you're hungry, you don't care. Visiting San Francisco for the first time in my life. We were walking down a busy, crowded street just outside of the city center when I saw a homeless dude sneak into an open stairwell to pinch one off in the corner. I didn't mean to stare. I just couldn't help it. Well, homie caught me looking, made eye contact, smiled, wiped with his bare hand and flicked the leavings in my direction before wiping the rest off in his hair. Thanks, SF. I hardly knew you. In his hair. Fuck. I can't really say no shame here since the person was homeless, but I was a Nick and saw a man eating a live rat on the subway. The way the rat screamed was horrible and I don't know why he didn't just kill it first if he had to eat it. I accidentally picked up a rat when sliding my hand under a box I was moving. The rat screamed as loud as I did. I was gonna say the guy who sprayed shit all over our stack of Budweiser 12 packs in our alcohol nook at a gas station I used to work at, but I think he felt shame. BC on the CCTV we saw him desperately holding his stomach as he tried waiting for the bathroom to free, and he at least tried to hide in the nook when he couldn't hold it any longer. So, instead my answer is this. My two best friends in high school dipping their cigarettes in DEET bug spray before smoking them while we were on a camping trip, hoping to catch a buzz. During a road trip, the same two friends got in a fight over who was gonna huff the last puff from a can of air duster. I did not partake in these shenanigans. I will never understand huffing toxic chemicals. The first one is unfortunate disgusting, the other is stupid disgusting. Mill uses her own hair to floss, while at the dinner table. I'm surprised at the strength of her hair. I'll admit that hair floss was a stupid thing I tried once as a kid. I did this in private, not at the dinner table, and the hair just broke. I saw a drunk guy try and pee between two people on the subway onto the free seat in the middle. Whipped it out and everything. Thankfully one of the passengers nearby was a tough middle-aged black woman who wasn't about to tolerate that shit. Bless her heart, she taught him shame that day, and his pee-pee stayed in his pants until he got out at the next stop. So he just waited and peed on the bus stop bench. Several years ago, I lived in an apartment in a low-crime, decent part of Seattle. Looked out my 5th floor window to see someone in the alley below us, pull down their pants, pull a pipe and a baggie out of his butt, fill the pipe, and proceed to smoke it. Ah, the Olay crack pipe. I was having some bongs with a friend a year or so back and my stepdad brought some friends over for some R&R. One of his mates, who we will call Drongo, asked me if he could have a cone and I then said that was okay. Drongo then rips his cone, looks at me, then proceeds to drink the very dirty bong water like it was a normal thing to do. Never saw Drongo again after that awkward encounter. Drongo sounds like a bloody legend. I lived in San Francisco for 17 years. I've seen homeless people giving jetted blowjobs, shitting on the sidewalk, shooting up, etc. Saw a guy go up to a flock of pigeons, somehow managed to grab one, and seemingly break its neck. I grew up in a fairly rural area and spent my 20s living in major cities. The first time you see someone get up to something strange really hits you. It's hard to describe to family without sounding like you're insane for living somewhere where that kind of thing happens. Fun stories though. Ah yes, I remember the first time I saw a homeless man poop on the subway. It was a crisp autumn morning and the R train was running late. I was in Japan at a strip club. I walk into the bathroom and as I turn to a stall I see a naked Japanese man furiously beating off and hysterically laughing. Disgusting, but funny as hell. I made the situation even better by telling my friends a stripper was in the bathroom giving dudes blowjobs. They obviously jump up and run in there. Seconds later, the screams ensued. This may not be the most disgusting thing, but it's the funniest so far. An armed security guard at Walmart was wearing sweatpants and had his hand forearm deep inside scratching his dick, balls, and ass. He then removed his hand and smelled his fingers. After that he stopped an old lady to check her receipt and she ran away from him. He seemed unfazed. On my way out he asked me who would win in a fight, Xenomorph or Predator. His skin and hair was so oily it looked like he was covered in Vaseline. I can smell this comment. change a baby's diaper on a table in a restaurant, then get indignant when the waitress asks them to use the changing station located in the bathroom. You know, that room for poop away from where people eat. Edit. Apparently people who put shit where food goes are a thing and they are both very proud of and very defensive about doing it. Saw this happen at a Starbucks once. They left the diaper on the table along with all their trash when they left. Saw a homeless woman in San Francisco with her pants around her ankles masturbating furiously while the crowd of people getting off work just walked around her. This is the third San Francisco one I've seen in row. Are they okay over there? Bite the head off of a lizard and laugh. I can read the other comments without flinching, but this one really gets to me. Ugwataf.